All right, let's talk about a huge, really expensive problem that so many big companies are facing. You know the one. They're practically drowning in data, but they're absolutely starving for real wisdom. Today, we're going to dive into the work of Axel Douchin, a leader who's made it his mission to fix this exact problem. And we'll see how he turns all that data chaos into actual, bottom-line business results.
So let's just start with a really direct question. Think about your own organization for a second. Is your data really driving your decisions? Or is it just creating more noise, more confusion, and, well, more chaos? Be honest.
You know, this is a massive challenge for so many companies right now. So first up, let's unpack what it takes to move from that state of total data chaos to a place of real strategic clarity. It's a journey a lot of businesses are on, but honestly, very few have truly figured it out.
So what does this data chaos actually feel like day to day? I'm willing to bet some of this is going to sound painfully familiar. You've got all these different systems that just don't talk to each other. You have teams guarding their data like it's a state secret, creating these massive information silos. You've got cool, exciting AI projects that get stuck in the lab, just gathering dust, never seeing the light of day. And maybe the worst one of all, those static dashboards. You know, the ones that are basically just a rearview mirror, telling you what happened yesterday, but giving you zero help for where you need to go tomorrow.
Now, to fix these kinds of deep, systemic problems, you can't just throw a new piece of software at it or hire a typical consultant. It won't work. What you really need is a true catalyst for change. And that means a new kind of leader, someone who can finally bridge that huge, expensive gap between all the tech and the actual business strategy.
And that's where this role, the transition manager, comes in. Now let's be super clear here. This is not your typical consultant who just drops off a fancy report and then vanishes. A transition manager is a true internal leader. They get their hands dirty, embedding themselves deep inside the organization to drive real, foundational change. They do it by lining up the three most critical pieces: the cloud, the data, and the actual business strategy.
In this quote from Axel Douchin, it absolutely nails the mindset. See, it's about a fundamental shift, moving from just executing a plan to actually challenging and shaping the strategy itself. It's about asking those tough why questions to make sure every single bit of technology is serving a real, tangible business purpose.
Okay, so we've got the problem, and we've got the right kind of leader. But what's the actual game plan? Let's get into the blueprint and break down the step-by-step approach for making this kind of transformation a reality.
So the whole approach really rests on these three pillars, and they have to work together. First up, cloud transformation. And listen, this isn't just about moving your servers from one place to another. It's about making sure your cloud strategy is directly creating measurable value for the business. Second, becoming a data-driven organization. This is the big one, the cultural shift. It's where you start treating your data like a product, something that's valuable, trustworthy, and meant to be shared and used. And third, AI-driven analytics. This is all about cutting through the buzzwords and the hype and just using AI to solve practical, real-world business problems that make a difference today.
This slide really just lays out the whole mental shift you have to make. On the left, you've got the old way, the world of data chaos. The goal is to get everything over to the to column on the right. So you're moving from passive dashboards to active decisions. You're going from data being this hoarded, siloed asset to being a shared product that creates value for everybody. And so importantly, you stop obsessing over just having tons of data and instead put a laser focus on its value and, maybe most critically, its trustworthiness.
Okay, so that all sounds good in theory, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's dig into some case studies and see the kind of actual, measurable impact this approach can have.
So first up is ManoMano. They're a super fast-growing e-commerce company in Europe, kind of like a Home Depot, but online. They were a textbook example of a business whose incredible growth was creating the exact kind of data chaos we've been talking about. They were moving so fast, their data systems just couldn't keep up.
And here's the really wild part. The core of this massive, incredibly complex transformation at ManoMano, it was basically done in just 1 year. I mean, that kind of speed is just a powerful testament to what's possible when you have a super focused, leadership-driven approach. So what did they actually get done in that 1 year? Well, they didn't just tweak a few things. They completely reinvented the company's data strategy from the ground up. They restructured their teams to finally tear down those information silos. They turned those static, backward-looking KPIs into real-time, actionable levers for making decisions. And most importantly, they drove that crucial cultural shift to treating data as a product, which was the key to rebuilding trust in their data across the entire organization. And look,
Mano Mano wasn't just some lucky fluke. This approach has been proven across a whole range of different industries. You can see the pattern right here on this slide. It doesn't matter if it's Pernod Ricard with a messy global data landscape, Hermes with shaky cloud operations, or a Swiss luxury brand needing a new AI product. The formula is exactly the same. You identify a clear challenge, you take focused action, and you get a tangible business outcome.
You know, when you look at all these results, it all points to one crucial conclusion. And that's what we're going to focus on in this final section. The real secret to all of this transformation, it's actually not about the technology. It's about the people. Here it is. This is the fundamental truth of this whole thing. Technology is the enabler. It's the foundation, it's essential, but it is not the solution. Real, lasting transformation is always driven from the top, by leadership that knows how to navigate complex organizational change and can maintain a relentless, unflinching focus on business outcomes.
I mean, this client testimonial just sums it all up perfectly. Axel brought clarity and control to a complex transformation, a catalyst for lasting change. Just notice the words they used. They aren't talking about software or platforms. They're talking about clarity, control, and lasting change. That is the real measure of success.
And so that brings us to our final question, and it's really one for you to take back to your own organization. The question isn't whether you have the latest and greatest technology. The real question is, do you have the leadership with the right mindset to truly lead the change? Because as we've seen today, that is what makes all the difference.